All right, welcome everyone to this evening's presentation by the Southern California Yachting Association. My name is Jody Masters-Gonzales. I am the 2025 Vice Commodore of SCYA, and it's a real pleasure to have our speaker tonight. John Hamilton is the current
Mark Fogel.
Vice Commodore.
Join the meeting.
California Yachting Association, or Yacht Club, excuse me. And he is a lifelong Angelino and an architect with a 10-person firm in West Los Angeles. He is a lifelong member of CYC, of Cal Yacht Club, and his parents joined the club prior to the latest clubhouse being built in the 1960s. His grandfather was the Commodore of Lake Arrowhead Yacht Club in the 1950s. John races his Tartan 101 Echo on Wednesday nights at Cal Yacht Club. And with that, John, go ahead and take control.
Okay. Thanks, Jody. I appreciate the introduction. And thanks, everybody, for being on tonight. I appreciate all the interest. As Jody mentioned, I am the Vice Commodore at California Yacht Club, and I have been I don't ever remember not being at California Yacht Club. My parents were members of the club before the clubhouse was built and before I was born. Before that, a little time at Lake Arrowhead. Shout out LAYC, the other one. I wanted to mention really quickly, I think that it's interesting. California Yacht Club has a slightly different structure than most of the other yacht clubs. And I think it's important to kind of understand how CYC is different as part of this overall discussion. So CYC is a little bit different in that there is a ownership group that is principally responsible for the management of the slips, the restaurant, the grounds, what have you. And then that the membership and the fleet, the volunteer side of the yacht club, of which I'm deeply involved, does the same things that every other yacht club does. We run regattas and cruises and dinners and what have you. I think it's interesting to note that because there's a lot of different ideas about how the yacht club might operate, and in my experience, basically we've separated along those lines pretty cleanly. In our current ownership, it had the wherewithal to buy the club actually not too long before the fire. So they've been on this ride with us almost right through the beginning. The yacht club from the 60s until not that long ago was owned primarily by the Hathaway family as a portion of holdings of LACO. When LACO's major business was storage, and when they sold their company, that included selling CYC and the Los Angeles Athletic Club. And then the company that bought all of those assets, CubeSmart, was not particularly in the yacht club or health club business, and they parted ways with those other two assets. So the current ownership, Jeff and Colin, have been great stewards to the extent that they've managed this kind of choppy water with us, and they'd only owned the club for a short time before the disaster struck on December 12th, 2023. That's me. Sorry, I forgot. That's my intro picture, and that's my lovely wife. There we are on Echo, and the club prior to the fire. I'm pretty sure that's my dad's Cal 36 in the front row of the club, second boat in off the parking lot. And I show the lawn because on my third date, I told my wife, that's where I'm getting married. And that's exactly where I got married. So, the club is a near and dear part of my life. Whew, it's a little hard to see the inside of the club like that. That is our clubhouse prior to the fire on December 12th. It was an electrical fire. It happened, probably happened right behind the ship's bell here. And you can see, here's our collection of trophies and Commodore's photos and what have you. I see Bill Moore on the call, his photo, as well as a lot of other dear friends. This is, let's see here. This is the night of the fire. Again, a little hard for me to look at. While the response to the fire was relatively quick, the fire itself was extremely destructive. As Jody mentioned, I'm an architect. Building was not sprinklered and of heavy timber construction. It's designed to allow everyone to get out, not necessarily not to burn. So these days, the fire resistivity of the building would be different, but when it was built, it accomplished its mission, which was to get everybody out unscathed. These are some images of the post-fire yacht club, for those of you who haven't seen it. This day, right, the day after, started an incredible outpouring of support from all over the world, really, and especially from other members of SCYA. I think that probably 40 or 50 different yacht clubs wrote us letters in support emotionally. And I have to say, of all of the letters that we received, I have to make a special note of Los Angeles Yacht Club, who reminded me and us that it wasn't the first time the California Yacht Club's clubhouse had burned down. And just like last time, we were welcome to move in with them again. So shout out to Los Angeles Yacht Club for rolling out the welcome mat from day one. And it's very appreciated. That when we last moved with them, moved in with them, it was quite some time ago. Okay. This is sort of walking through the entrance of the yacht club post-fire. As you can see, the devastation is relatively complete. The trophies, the photographs of all the Commodores, really a vast majority of the memorabilia in the club was lost to the fire. Pretty substantial devastation. Okay. That's all the bad news, and that's all stuff that all of you know. I will say that the immediate reaction of the Commodore and the Vice Commodore in the days and weeks following the fire set the tone for the yacht club's current status and future. It's funny how some people are just where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be. Sue Service, who would become the Commodore just would be fully immersed as Commodore just a few weeks after the fire, had grown up in sort of the military family and has that sort of thinking and background, and her immediate instructions to the rest of the bridge were clear. We're going to deliver everything that we said we were going to deliver to the greatest extent possible prior to the fire. And And with the combination of this dumb tent that you see over my grinning face and some of the other facilities at the club, we really started to quickly move into a mode where we, by being agile, we were able to deliver programming that we had delivered prior, be it regattas, be it Thursday night yachting lectures or what have you. I remember one of the first, I was responsible for the yachting lectures. We had no bar, we had no restaurant, we had no nothing. And it was the first yachting lecture and nobody knew what we were going to do. Well, we had a tent, we had a extension cord, and I went to the liquor store and bought a bunch of beer and an ice bucket, and there you go. We're having an event. So we never backed down on our programming. There was a couple of things that we had to switch around, but we managed to keep the events of the yacht club moving forward. And I think to a great extent, that's why we continue to have a vibrant yacht club now. Even though we've had sort of this great setback, we've also had a number of people joining the yacht club, and our current membership status is even and climbing from where it was even 6 months ago. And that is tied into obviously the other facilities that we have at the club besides the clubhouse, but also into the fact that we continue to hold the programming that we have always held, and find ways to work around the limitations of the lovely tent there. We also have acquired, the yacht club ownership has acquired a 130 foot yacht, which is acting as a bar and restaurant for us, temporary clubhouse facilities. This is the Northwind. Northwind has a storied history. I know that the Queen has been aboard. I have heard that it's one of the first places that Aristotle Onassis and Jackie Kennedy met. And it's rumored to be one of the ships that lifted that helped at Dunkirk lift people off the beach. It's a storied old boat. It's also the story goes that it also was parked on the Thames to as a painting studio for Churchill, and involved in the response to the Exxon Valdez catastrophe. This is the yacht club as it stands today, and most notably in the middle of the parking lot is a big white rectangle. That is our beloved tent, which is acting as our temporary clubhouse. This picture is soon after the fire. Not much later, a food trailer is now flanking, and honey wagons or temporary toilet facilities. So that the tent operates as a temporary clubhouse. A lot of people have asked me about, and I think it's everyone's favorite topic, and I see a lot of longtime members on the call. A lot of people have asked me about the future status of the yacht club. Well, first of all, I think the yacht club has been around over 100 years and will continue to be around. There is, I think, some apprehension about how and where exactly that's going to happen, and I think that that's fair. Being that if you look at this map, parcel 130, 131, 132, which is where the yacht club is located, the H parcel, 133, 134, these parcels are all leased two different groups through the county of Los Angeles. And the county of Los Angeles is aligning those leases so that all of those leases will come due at the same time. And they are going to be issuing a request for proposal for the use of those parcels. It is currently undetermined whether those parcels will all be leased together to the same entity or to different entities or to some to one entity and some to another entity. None of that has been determined to any extent, to the best of my knowledge. And I'm in contact with the county representatives fairly often. The one thing I will say, which is common knowledge, the county required that the ownership of California Yacht Club, that is the business wing as opposed to the volunteer wing, allow for the name, image, and likeness of California Yacht Club to continue with whoever wins the lease or the RFP for the parcel on which the yacht club sits. And that allows the yacht club to continue even if the current ownership is not the leaseholder of that parcel. It's kind of a complicated maneuver that the county came up with, but it speaks to the county's commitment that the yacht club continue on, I think, in that location. Beyond that, everyone would like to have greater assurances that the yacht club is going to stay in the same place and build the same building and be exactly the same as it was previously. I don't think that's not assured, and it's not also denied. It's very possible that could happen. That's just an unknown currently. For any of those of you who have dealt with county, a city or county planning and their future plans, it's sometimes difficult to get to where they're going to be 10 years in the future. So that is sort of the current status of the yacht club. As I mentioned, the membership is stable and growing slightly, actually. And I think that's a big testament to, that we're fun and that we have a great base of members. In addition to the future RFP, of which no details have been released, and the county has not said when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, what are the qualifications or anything else. There may be opportunities for shorter term leases for facilities that are within this picture. That also has not been determined if and when the yacht club might be able to make use of one of those facilities. That's all TBD. And if you wish I had better answers for you, I wish I had better answers for you. So okay, so one of the things that that Jody and I talked about prior to my agreeing to speak was the things, there's some lessons to take away. I think for all of you that are in leadership positions with your yacht club, documentation of the sort of historical artifacts of the yacht club is really important and maybe not taken as seriously as it should be. We are still trying to collect photographs of our previous Commodores, for instance. You can see that digital backup for photos, and then digital backup of sort of historical documents for the yacht club, and the trophies. Now just delving into sort of the business aspect of it, your trophies are very valuable, and some of them are very, very valuable. And if you're trying to make an insurance claim down the line, documentation of the trophies at the club is important. I think number 5, as I say, I grew up at the yacht club. I was in the junior program. My parents were members a million years ago. I did not know how much I loved my clubhouse. And next time you're walking around your club, take a look around and appreciate what a great spot that is and how fun it is to run into your friends and family and what have you. It's a remarkably precious thing. I think the post-fire direction for the club, as I said, Sioux Service was the Commodore shortly after the fire was out, and her leadership in that first 6 months was a really great lesson for me in how to be a leader in a moment of difficulty, in terms of the commitment to stay the course to the greatest extent possible. She really led that challenge. I think that a town hall to sort of keep everyone apprised of the current situation and current opportunities was helpful. I'd actually like to see that happen a little bit more with and I've sort of talked to ownership about that, and also acknowledge the difficulties. This is, in our case, that this is not going to be solved shortly. If you've seen, we have a government entity that is working on its own timeline, and I think it's important to recognize this is not going to be fixed in a day, and appreciate the people that stay committed to the club. An action plan in terms of we had to get the computers running again. We had to make sure that we could host regattas. What about all the equipment needed to run races? Just all of those things in terms of what's important and what's not. We're still working through them. I'm on the trophy committee, and we're working on reconstituting some of those trophies that you saw we lost. There's a lot of them. I would say one thing that I think we could have done better, and when I say we, I mean the ownership, management, and the fleet, was maybe not overpromise. We've had some potential recovery options not come through the way that we had hoped, and that's disappointing to people. And I think that a lesson learned from that would be not to overpromise things until the ink is dry. Future call to action. Okay, well, as I mentioned, we're in a, I would say, political situation wherein the county is evaluating the best use for the property that the yacht club sits on and the adjacent properties. There is going to come a time when California Yacht Club is going to reach out to our sister clubs and ask them to lean in on the local politicians to continue to have CYC have the same sort of facilities that they had prior to the fire, which only seems appropriate. CYC has been I think, a good steward of yachting and sailboat racing in Southern California, and as you know, we're working on the Olympic circles this week, today actually, and we're hosting the Optimus National Championship Regatta in a few weeks. We're we need and would like our fellow members to, or fellow clubs to lean in on the politicians to expedite the process. Not yet, but there will be a time when we actually will, what do they say in Game of Thrones? Call the banners, right? We will be asking every flag in that clubhouse to write a letter of support and to help us make sure that we're able to continue to be a leader in yachting in Southern California. Okay. I think that is about I think that's about everything I wanted to cover today, but I do know that a lot of people have question and answer questions and answers for me. And we also got some written submittals. So wherever we'd like to start, Jody.
All right, so before we end recording, if you want to address the written questions that we received through the registration process, and then when you're done with those, I'll end the recording and we can take live Q&A.
All right, great. The first question is, I'm a disaster professional and a city planner. Wow, a lot of jobs there. All right, good for you. And I'm interested in how local government entities supported you. Well, the fact of the matter is that the obviously the fire department was did everything they could to protect and preserve the yacht club and stopped it from getting to the boats in the front of the club. In terms of how the local governmental entities have supported us, that's really a TBD. We're hoping that they will when they go ahead and start to come up with their RFQ. What steps would you recommend to other clubs to preserve their history if hit by a catastrophic event? But I certainly think, sorry. I certainly think that digital preservation of the items that your club holds, and then putting those in a cloud, basically the same kind of procedure you'd have for any business. Please, what are the committees that are formed that focus on the physical rebuilding of a clubhouse and facilities? Until the lease extension is, or until the RFP is available, there's no committee that is needed because there's no opportunity to plan for a future facility. The club and area future, it's not actually totally a question, but I think I've talked about how the RFP is to come. How's the club management progressing with the county in resolving ground lease terms and planning for the approval of reconstruction? Again, we're talking about the county forming a request for proposals and putting it out. They have not yet done that. Lake Gregory Yacht Club lost its clubhouse in 2023 with the snowstorm. What can Lake Gregory learn from the CYC experience? I think first and foremost is to try to keep moving forward, create at least a temporary facility, and to keep offering programming and bring together your membership. Information about future planning for CYC. I think we talked about that. What is the consensus? Was it easy to build a consensus on a rebuilding plan? I'll let you know as soon as we do it. And then there's a question that just says affordable memberships. I'm not totally sure what that means, but they're not unaffordable. All right, I'll leave it at that.
All right, we have one other question that came in through chat. In terms of rebuilding, where does the club stand financially and fundraising?
Yeah, that is not currently an issue that we're even working with because we're waiting for the county's request for proposal process to get going.
Okay, and as I mentioned, we are going to stop the recording to take live Q&A and just open it up to a more informal discussion. We will be sharing out the recording in our next newsletter. If you have any questions for me or for John, I will share our information in chat once we stop recording. And I just want to thank everyone for being here formally before we stop the recording. John, thank you so much for coming to speak with us tonight and to share CYC Strong, your theme for this year, and reflections and lessons on disaster resilience and community. So everyone on the call, stand by, and I'm going to stop the recording.